When I got to the university, of Cape Town in South Africa, it presented another environment that was different from the one I experienced at the University of Lagos. So I had to change to adapt. You have to adapt to this environment, and you must be able to read it appropriately. You must be able to read that environment. So it was different. That at University of Lagos was different from that one I encountered at Lagos State Polytechnic. All those environments were different. So most of you on this platform, listening to this lecture, you have your own personal experience in your various institutions and the types of relationships that you have and the type of people that are there. What I find is that at the University of Cape Town, the level of awareness is quite high of the people there. Very high level of awareness. Maybe it's because of the plane in which they are. So it's not like the kind of much more harmonious relationships that you will have at institutions like University of Lagos, where you are all the same. So it's much more combative. And to navigate that kind of environment, you need to have those skills in order to improve on our interpersonal relationships. So this is a question we all battle with. And there is no one size fits all of how you navigate it, except you have that you can read the environment properly. You may not be able to navigate it easily. So what are those challenges that I have encountered on my journey? There are work tensions between the academic and the department. So you find that there are certain work tensions there, how you want to do your work and how the department expects you to do it. Work tensions between you as an academic and other faculty members as well. You'll find out that there's tensions between your work strategies and sometimes the departmental recognition. Sometimes you are overlooked, you are ignored. Some entitlements that you think should be yours will be given to somebody else for other reasons. Maybe because you are not part of the gang, you are not this, you are not in the inner circle. It could be race, it could be because of knowledge. There are different things. So you're overlooked. So no recognition for the amount of work you do. Some people who you feel should not be promoted are promoted ahead of you. So this brings about you feeling shortchanged, feeling bad, you know. Then there's also the problem of balancing your academic work life and private life. Many people think maybe academic life is easy. That's what I thought as well when I went into it. I later discovered that it's a difficult journey. It's not easy. It's not as easy as we think, oh, they only go to lectures, they don't do anything, teach students, mark. No, it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. You have to do more than that. You see that it's into sometimes, if you are doing it well, you have to write papers, you have to do research, you have to publish. It is also, it takes part of your private life, your private time, you put it into academic. Then for the females, which is even worse. So being a female academic, the gender dimension of exclusion also inhibits women from participating fully in academics. You will encounter some men who believe that the place of the woman is in the kitchen. So no matter how good you are, they still believe that you are not good enough because you are a female gender. They have a wife like you at home, who may be a housewife, who they even consider that she's better in terms of her knowledge and in terms of what she does than you are. And so they will say, why do we need to promote her? You know? So that gender dimension usually leads to women not being able to participate fully or not being taken seriously as in academics or even to be recognized at the level of a professor. So women have to do more You have to do more to prove yourself than a man. That's my own experience of academia. Now, the quality of interpersonal relationship that you develop also, as I mentioned before, depends to some extent on that academic environment where you work, because people differ across institutions. And you may actually find that there are some institutions where you are a marked man or a marked woman right from the beginning. The minute you enter, in minutes you are you are appointed into that institution, you find out that you are marked. It's as if they want to shoot you down. So you have to even interpret the environment to know whether you are marked or not. Maybe you came in through one route or another route, and the HOD was not really supportive of your appointment or something like that. So you just become marked for no reason. So you may find that you need to think through the situation where you find yourself. What do you do? Or you may find out you need to inquire, like we are now at this webinar. How do we navigate and inquire from experienced academics on what you can actually do? You start thinking through it, because all these environments are different. You might say, oh, maybe Unilag will be different, will be much better than the University of Ife. You find different problems everywhere. There's no nice place. You need to be able to navigate it with your emotional intelligence. There's no one size fits all. You are the one that is changing. You are the one that needs to be able to read these environments. So how do we improve our interpersonal relationships? I want to start by warning you that there are certain people you need to avoid. But we need to be careful of the word avoid, because sometimes you may not be able to avoid them because they are there in the department. You have to manage them. So consciously avoid or manage those three types of people. The big egos, they fill the room. I'll talk more about the big egos in my next slide. The snakes, you'll find them there. You must be able to identify them. They secretly poison relationships. They tell A what B said. They turn it over. They tell B what C said. Knock two people's heads together, create this enmity, create a toxic environment. You need to be able to know who they are. Then there are the reluctant players, those people who lack energy, they lack enthusiasm for the job, and they usually don't have time. Maybe they are doing something else entirely. You have to avoid them as well, because they will bring you down. You won't be able to do the job you are meant to do. So how do you avoid them? You have to be emotionally intelligent. You must show strong power of judgment where they are concerned. So I said I'll talk a little bit more about these big egos. So because you need to identify them in your departments, in your university. They fill the room. They're usually empty barrels. Ego, they say, the more your knowledge, the lesser your ego. The more knowledge you have. So the people who have very low knowledge, they usually have inflated egos. They fill the room, they're empty barrels. When starting your career and when you are trying to find your way, they are around you. They use their position and power to intimidate you. You need to maybe kneel down or bow down to them every morning or wherever you find them. Maybe clean their cars or something like that. As a student, if you are a student, carry their bags and so on. I have students who carry my bag. That's why I'm laughing. So you need to be able to, you need to know them. They won't allow you to achieve whatever you want to achieve on your own. They will suffocate you. They will leave no space for you to grow or to participate or contribute unless you are repeating whatever they say, turning you into a robot, an image of themselves. Usually they don't know their limitations. And if you don't do what they want you to do, They can be vindictive. They can get back at you. I think we just read the case of the supervisor that we started with, the icebreaker. They can be vindictive and get back at you. So knowing them from afar, the big egos, and understanding them is very important, because then you can actually devise a strategy. So we talk about decisions. You can devise a strategy and a way to escape from them. It's not easy. You have to deflate their egos and escape. So be wary of including these people, big egos, snakes, and reluctant players in your research discussions or teams, because you'll never go anywhere. If you rely on man to help you, you will never go anywhere. Avoiding them may be difficult because they may be the HOD, the key people in your department, the dean or something, people involved in your career. So it may be difficult, and you are a young academic. So it may be difficult, but you need to be able to navigate successfully. So you try to minimize your interaction with them in order to remain focused on what you want to do and to take charge of your affairs. So I promise to tell you those strategies that I used in order to progress over the past 30 years in my career. The strategies for improving your interpersonal relationships, for growth in your academic career. I have put down 12 points. Discipline and organization. You need to be disciplined and you need to be organized. You have to be able to remember things, organize all your folders, organize your files, even if it's from 30 years ago. They can still come in useful for you to be able to prove a point. Understand your priorities. Plan. Use the principles of project management. Most of you are in construction. Use the principles of sowing and reaping. You invest your time. You sow your time today because you want to invest, you want to reap in the future. If you don't sow anything today, don't sow those papers, that research, that time today, there's nothing for you to reap in the future. And people who are very good at that will always have good relationships with others. You have to be able to handle criticisms by remaining positive and confident. Don't let criticisms weigh you down. Develop a thick skin in order to resolve issues. Then you will face criticisms, and in some situations, these criticisms will partly dominate various dialogues that you are involved in and debates that you are going to be involved in as an academic. Some will say you are stupid and so on. So you have to establish values. Let's establish values so that you don't become depressed if you get bogged down by some of the criticisms that you face, very harsh criticisms that you might face. So you don't want those criticisms, you still want to maintain a kind of open relationships, and that those criticisms won't bog you down. Okay. And about the planning your time as well. For example, if you're going to write a paper for a conference, special issue, a book chapter, there are deadlines which you shouldn't miss. So that was the thing I was talking about when I talked about the planning your time and investing your time. So there are certain things that you shouldn't miss. People who want to work with you want to know that you are reliable and wouldn't miss your deadlines. Okay. So be persistent. Academia is publish or perish. And publishing is a very demanding job. Keep on trying to do the research. Keep on trying to publish, don't give up, and applying for grants. This adds value to you as a person, and it makes you more valuable to the community where you find yourself. Be resolute in seeking deep explanations for events despite repeated problems or you hitting a brick wall during the investigation. Just keep going. Don't stop. Be resolute. Be determined. Then networking, very important as well. Build up your social network, build up your academic network by attending conferences and workshops regularly. So you're at one now, you're at this webinar. Academic conferences, social events, attend all of them. Always be present. Build your network, build your social capital. Improve yourself. Go on sabbatical if you have the opportunity at your university. Learn from other people. Learn about their challenges and learn about what is affecting them. Get advice from them in order to be able to improve yourself. Okay. Then consolidate on your professional standing and network. Be an authority in your research area. Be intimately familiar with and knowledgeable about both the classical, historical, and recent literature in your area of inquiry so that people will seek you. Be a scholar who is articulate about the area of inquiry and that can speak with authority and clarity about what it is you are researching and with what proposition or apathy. I'm getting some feedback from you. Can we mute those who are making, can they mute themselves, please? Okay, so the other one is be an ethical scholar. Follow strong professional ethics that is rooted in honesty about your work. Don't copy other people's work. Don't be involved with academic misconduct. Accept constructive criticism. Treat other people with respect. Because you are made the HOD, do not try to gain personal advantage out of serving first in line of all the other academics. It's not your heritage, for example. If you're in that position, it's not your heritage. One day you give it up to somebody else to take over from you. So try and use that position to effect change, to motivate people, but do not use it as a personal advantage in order to victimize people. Try to be fair. Then note that not everyone can lead. Not everyone is a leader. People who are not usually in academia, you are not trained for that leadership, but it's given to you. You are not trained to manage people. You're not an HR person, but you are made the HOD, you are made the dean, you are made the VC. But not everyone. You have to note that as a person. Not everyone can lead. You promote people who are not supposed to be promoted. You do not promote somebody else who deserves promotion. So you cannot actually work as a team with collegiality anymore because people will be complaining all the time about inequality and fair treatment. So that interpersonal relationship will be broken. People who do not have those leadership qualities, we find them out that they are usually selfish. So in conclusion, as to wrap up all what I've said, there are various challenges and people in the academic environment that may impact an academic's career aspirations. Don't forget, our career aspirations is to finish our PhD degree, get into academia, and then go through the ranks and become a professor. So you face those various challenges which I've identified previously, the people in the system, and how the system treats you. There's no cookbook recipe to address these challenges because the environments differ. The environment I found that Lagos Poly is different from that at Unilag, different from that at UCT, with the level of awareness in this environment. So we do not have a cookbook recipe to address these challenges and build interpersonal relationships between the actors in the academic space. Okay, so the recommendation is that the academic must be astute and develop appropriate soft skills and emotional intelligence to avoid those 3 types of people that I identified earlier in order to improve your workplace interpersonal relationships and improve your chances for progression. You must be a good judge of human character in order to put in place you take the right decisions in order to address the challenges that you'll find in the environment where you are. And so with that, I want to thank you all very much for listening. And I don't know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Ma. We really appreciate the lecture. Before we go to the question and answer section, we're going to take a picture as usual, since we have a bit full house now. So we're going to take our pictures. So please, let's see your faces. Please stop. Please show your videos, please, so that we can take our picture before we go to our question and answer session. Okay. Yes. More faces, please. Good. Thanks. Okay. Some videos are still up. Yes. More faces, please. Okay. Please, not profile pictures. Want to see the beautiful faces and handsome faces. Thank you so much. Yes, thanks. Okay. As usual, we're going to take 3 pictures, 3 screenshots. And as we're taking the screenshots, as usual, we're going to say WAiC. As usual, you can't say WAiC without smiling. So everybody, at the count of 3, say WAiC. 1, 2, 3, go. WAiC.
WAiC.
Let's take another one. 1, 2, 3, go. WAiC.
WAiC.
Yes. Another one. 1, 2, 3, go. WAiC.
WAiC.
Yes. Thank you so much. So we're going to continue with our questions and answers session. Thank you so much, Ma. But before we take our question and answer session again, we're going to read the citation again. We're not able to see our screen properly, and we did not honor our lecturer properly. So please, I'm going to share my screen, and then we're going to read her citation again so that we'll know her properly. But meanwhile, gather your questions so that we can take them after this session. Thanks. Okay. Okay. So can you see my screen? Not yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Any challenges?
Having some challenges, but it's okay. I really want us to, yes, appreciate. Okay. I still have the challenges. So please, let's take the question and answer session as we go on. Same.
Okay. Please, can we give an applaud to our guest speaker, Professor Abimbola Wimbo? She has done justice to the topic. Please let's give her a round of applause, please. Everyone. Yes, we want to thank you, Ma, our dear Prof, for the awesome presentation. We all have been blessed. Thank you so very much, Ma. The Lord will continue to increase your wisdom. Now we're going to the question and answer session. Firstly, let me apologize for the late commencement of the program due to hitches. We all have we listened to the wonderful presentation, and I know we must have questions. If we have questions, we want you to please place on the chat box. Yes, we have seen those who are applauding her, thanking her, but we believe we should have questions. This is a practical session whereby we can, apart from brainstorming, we can purge our minds out to act way forward in whatever situation we find ourselves. So we have a prof here who is ready to direct us, to give us counsel and advice. I want to believe we are all saying that the presentation is well understood and that we are through with everything. No practical questions from anyone? Or maybe we can have comments. Thank you. An insightful presentation. Yes, thank you for that.
I think they can make contributions as well about maybe their own situation and where they are in the academic journey. And if there are any challenges that they are facing, they could just share as well.
Exactly. Thank you, Madam. So according to Prof, we can make comments, you can make contributions as regards where you are, what you are facing, the challenges you have, probably how, the ones you already, you've been through, you overcome, and you want to share with us your experience. Yes, can more of human relations seminars be compulsorily organized? This person is asking a question. In various institutions at all levels, as it will foster progress. Okay. It's a question and also a suggestion. Yes, this is one of it. And we'll see how we can encourage that. Another person is saying, Prof, how can a student manage a toxic supervisor who may be the HOD? How easy can it be for such a student to change his or her supervisor? Okay, that's a question.
Yeah, it's a question. It's a good question.
Yes,
and even contributions made. I just want to shout out to Dr. Nezu Duma Olugo, the HOD of Architecture at Unilag. Thank you very much for your compliments and all the other compliments in the chat box. A in terms of the first one, yes, I think we need, especially academics, scientists, people in construction, they don't have any training in human resource management. So if you don't have training, how do you want to manage the human beings? Because sometimes it may not be the fault of the academic, but it comes from the HOD. The problem comes from the HOD creating this toxic environment, doing preferential kind of treatment, discriminatory treatment, and then some staff feel shortchanged, they feel angry, and then they react. They react in a negative way. So this is what we say, if you have emotional intelligence, it's very difficult, but you must be able to control your emotions. So yes, having more human relations seminars, sending our HODs, the deans, VCs, all the people managing in the management position in the universities, and even those who are upcoming as well, who will be future HODs, to human relations seminars is a very good way to go. To foster progress, to foster an environment that is peaceful and where everybody is happy, and to remove the toxicity from the environment. You have to do little. And then they also have to put in place. You have to put in place, because I see that in some institutions, there's a lot of impunity as well. That is, the people in authority act. Yorubas have a saying that talo mamumi, talo mumi. If we do this, you know, there is no accountability. So they need to put in place certain guidelines and policies to hold people in positions accountable for their actions. So that's one of the things that should be done at universities as well. And then also, when you are talking of a toxic supervisor, it's also part of what I'm saying about accountability. At UCT, I know, even though how difficult it is, it's difficult on one side, but they have those guidelines. They have in place statutes that makes people like supervisors accountable for whatever actions they take. So you could hold the supervisor to account, you can report the supervisor, and then the university can change the supervisor. Well, I know maybe in Nigerian universities, this may not be possible. And who may also be the HOD who will victimize you. It's not going to be easy for the student. But if you are a very strong student, you know your stuff well. And that's part of the hard skills. You know your stuff. You can be able to challenge that kind of supervisor, so that no matter where they take your thesis to be marked, you will pass, no matter where it goes. So, but if you are not strong, so that's why we say you will need both the combination of hard skills and soft skills to be able to do your work. You may be able to stand up to that kind of supervisor in areas where there is no accountability, nothing to protect the students. But I know at UCT, there are things in place to protect students.
Thank you, my dear Prof. We have more questions coming in. This person is saying, this is from Zara Joshua. Thank you, Ma, for the wonderful presentation. Ma, can you give practical examples of how those three types of people you mentioned in the slide can be avoided? Yes, the three types you said. You mentioned the big egos, the snakes, and the reluctant players. Yes, this person wants to know how they can be avoided.
Okay. All right.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe you'll treat that before we go to the next one. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So the way you could avoid them, like I mentioned, was that especially the last two, the reluctant players, the snakes, just don't put them in your research. Don't let them get near to your work. You can avoid them in that way. Don't let them get near to your work. Now, the big egos, these ones are usually the people in charge. They're the ones, like maybe can be your supervisor, could be your HOD, somebody who is in charge of your life. You may find it very difficult to avoid them. You're going to find it difficult to avoid them. So the only way is you have to be more diplomatic, okay? So you must have that playing the game with diplomacy. Yes, I will do what you say I should do, you know, and then when you get what you want, so you are not confrontational. I wouldn't advise to be confrontational. When you get what you want, and then you can start avoiding them and then cutting them off. But it's very difficult. You know, I mentioned it in my slide. It's very difficult, especially if they are your supervisor, your HOD, and somebody in charge who has control over your future. It's going to be difficult, but diplomacy is the way. And then later on, you start to avoid them. You are looking for something, you get it, then you start to avoid them. Although some people may say, oh, no, that's not very ethical, working in that way. But diplomacy is the way to avoid them.
Okay, thank you, Ma. The next question says, given your experience as a woman, what will be your advice for upcoming female academics?
That one is a very tough question. As a woman, it's not easy for women to navigate that space of academia. It's very difficult. So my advice is that you have to, the way I went through it, so with the emotional intelligence, you are able to judge, you're a very good judge of character. So that's the first point. So you have to judge the character. You have to judge your environment. You have to take the right decisions that is going to enable you progress. So you know what you are looking at is you want to progress. You want to get to the top of your game. So as I said, you have to work harder. It may sound quite not what you should be doing. But let us say for men, they require 100 papers, for example. As a woman, you have to prove yourself. You have to do more. And if you look at my publication history, you see that I do more than is required. So if they say they are looking for 75 papers, I have 150. By the time they reduce it to 75, you get it from the 150. You understand what I'm saying? No matter what you do as a woman, they will look, some men look at it as inconsequential, as nothing, they have not done any work.
Sure.
It's a woman, it's a woman. How could she do anything? You understand? So you have to prove, you have to work much more harder. Like my mom will say, sorry, I'm using Yoruba language. You will do your hand, it will be very strong. So we wouldn't just get to the top by just going to like Unilag, going to Unilag Staff Club and drinking tea and doing all. You have to work hard. Being a woman is hard work, and you'll get there. They will notice you and you'll get to the top. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for that answer, a very justifiable one. The next question, 7 habits. Okay, this person is saying, I recommend reading this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, and How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Okay, that's noted. Thank you for that. There's an information for every one of us. The next question says, how can this emotional intelligence and soft skills will be incorporated in training new intake or staff by the department?
I'll just try and give my own view. I don't know if it's going to be the correct one. Oh, I could see Prof is here as well, Professor Rahim. Good afternoon. He raised his hand. So I'll just try and give my own perspective on how this, I think, I don't think it's something that people should be trained in per se. So we are already in this seminar, we are discussing emotional intelligence and soft skill. I think it's something that you may be introduced to it, but you still need to work on it yourself. So remember I said, wherever you find yourself, you need to be able to read the environment. So those are your soft skills and emotional intelligence. You need to be able to read it. I think it's also on a kind of psychological kind of trait. So it's on psychology. And I think you can measure the level of emotional intelligence you have. Psychologists can measure it. There are measurements for it. So you need to be able to read that environment. You need to be a shrewd person. When you say shrewd, astute, that kind of character. You need to read it, but you need to know that environments change. But you as a person need to read it. You need to read people. And I don't know if it's something one can be taught. How do I read a person? You need to be able to read them, their emotions, and then take your own decisions based on what you have read about them. So teaching it, I think, it's like management before that people said managers are born, not made, you know. So this kind of, I also feel that this kind of emotional intelligence, there are things that you could teach it to an extent. There are certain things that also has to do with the individual themselves. You understand?
Okay.
So that's what I said about that. I see my prof raised his hand just now.
Okay, maybe he wants to contribute to that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can we allow Prof? Yes, you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm Professor Rahim from LAUTECH, Ubumosho, Nigeria.
You're welcome, sir. You're
I
very
want to
welcome, sir.
commend my friend and classmate, Professor Bimbo Winterko.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well done. We were together at the University of Ife before she came to Cape Town. The lecture is interesting, and I think women will benefit a lot from it, and even men too. But there's an area I want to clarify. It's not that all men are lions or wizards. Some people have soft spot for ladies. And even in some cases, when criteria are set for women, either for promotion or for some other things, one expects that they will do their best. But in most cases, not as if we now want to rate them higher than, or want to use a higher standard than men. We now rate them. Get it? But like she rightly said, it's better to have what you don't need than to need what you don't have. Because in most cases, when papers are being reviewed, there are opportunities to say, okay, this is not up to standard, and that is not up to, and that in that case, sentiment comes in, you see? So when they now begin to remove what is not, you will not be able to know on what basis are they removing what. But if you have more than is required, you'll be at an advantage,
Yes.
isn't it?
Exactly.
So that would be good for you. But in most cases, just don't allow that. Don't rate it that all men are the same. Some of us have spots for women, especially those in academics that are coming up. We want them to develop and come up. So thank you. It's a good work. And I commend you for your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, we thank you, sir, for the useful contribution. Yes, we recognize men are our partners in progress. And in actual fact, they've been very useful and helpful to us. Not all men, as you have said, are lions. So
that's true.
we go on. Yes, thank you, Prof. We go on with our question. The next question is, says, Prof, you also mentioned departmental politics. What is your advice to young academics about taking sides or joining camps?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
A very tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yes.
Very interesting question. A tough question. You see, I would just say, as an academic, against, it's not joining camps per se, but standing on the side of truth. So if you have that emotional intelligence, you could read the environment, you will be able to separate what is true from what is false. Because there are some people who just want to create problems for others. So you do not want to join the camps of those type of people. So you want to look at what is the true, what's the ethical thing that I should do. So it may look as if you are standing on the side of another camp, but you are standing on the side of truth. But it might be another camp, but you always defend the truth, honesty, and dignity. You always stand on that side, whatever the cost. So, because one thing, the truth will never fail us. When you get to the future, the truth will never, it will always come out. But those people, what did you say?
I said exactly, ma. Exactly.
Yes, so it will never fail you. So always stand on this of the call the alabosi. Don't join that camp. Join the right camp. I'm sorry, I don't know how to alabosi in English, but always join on the side of people who want to do the right thing. And in future, it will show, it will come out to your advantage. That this person, when they were all castigating this other person, was on this side, and it was on the side of truth. It will never fail you.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Alabosi can be translated as sites, eye service. Hypocrites, thank you. Those who do eye service, the hypocrites, exactly. They go about doing eye service just to do as if, okay, everything is okay, or they are on your side, whereas behind, they are the opposites. So they're hypocrites, eye service people. Thank you for doing justice to that. Thank you, because that was a tough one. You have actually dealt with very well. Now, the next question says, okay, just to collaborate, Prof's explanation. EI is the ability to monitor, discover, and determine oneself and others, emotions, and thereby using the results to guide your actions and thinking. Yes, thank you for that contribution to support what Prof has given to us as presentation. I think we've gone through all the questions. I don't know if you have any other person who wants to come on board to contribute or share an experience with us. While we wait for that, we will still welcome anyone who wants to. Let me appreciate Prof once again, Professor Abimbola Windapo. She has given us a very insightful presentation as academics. This is a way forward for us, those of us in the pursuit of career progression. And I want to say that her presentation is also very useful, not only for those who have academic pursuit, whether you are in construction, consulting, even in social, positions or environs. Wherever you find yourself as a leader, this presentation will be very useful because Prof has dealt with how we can use our emotional intelligence to soar higher to whatever level we want to get to. So once again, I want to say thank you to Prof.
Thank you.
I've known Prof for a long time. I don't know whether you can recognize me when you were with WAiC.
Okay, that's a long time ago.
A very long time ago.
Mhm.
Yes, we were together in WAiC before you,
Wow.
moved into academics.
Academic.
So, yes,
Okay.
thank you,
Nice.
and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to thank everybody. Thank you for having me.
God bless you. Thank you, Prof. Yes, I think the citation is ready now. We will so much love to read the citation of our Prof. It's worth reading, it's worth listening to. And I know that every one of us on this platform will be delighted to listen. So can we have our dear Sister Linda? Are you ready for us?
Yes, I am.
Thank
So
you.
can you see my screen?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
So lecturer Professor Bimbola Windapo is a professor at the Department of Construction Economics and Management, University of Cape Town, South Africa, with more than 34 years experience in practice, teaching and research in the construction industry. She has held various teaching and administrative positions at the University of Cape Town, South Africa, and the University of Lagos. She is a C4 rated researcher at the National Research Foundation of South Africa. She's also a registered member of the South African Council for the Project and Construction Management Professions, a member of the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, and a fellow of the Nigeria Institute of Building. Her research is multidisciplinary and focuses on building materials technology, sustainable housing, construction industry development, construction business, and project management from a performance and practice perspective. Professor Windapo is the joint coordinator of the TG81 Global Construction Data Tax Group of the CIB. She is also the editor of Journal of Construction Business and Management, hosted by the University of Cape Town, South Africa. She's a distinguished associate of the Academy of Engineering and the recipient of several awards, including the prestigious NSTF South Africa 32 Engineering Research Capacity Development Science Oscars Award. So once again, a round of applause for our lecturer, Professor Abimbola Windapo. Thank you. And just to encourage us, we have a lot of participants that registered for this event. We have people from Oakland, we have people from all over Nigeria, we have people from Ghana, we have people from different parts, and we really appreciate you and welcome you. We'll be sharing the videos and the screenshots later. Thank you for attending this webinar. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sister Linda. And thank you for appreciating all our participants. Yes, we also have people from South Africa. Thank you.
Yes.
You're all welcome. Yes, we implore you to follow us. We're having our video. It will be shared. We have a WhatsApp group. It will be shared there, and then it will be shared on Instagram. Thank you once again. Now, I believe we are through with the questions. We've done justice to all the questions. Next on the agenda is our announcements. Yes, we thank God this webinar, the one of June, is the one we're in, and the next one is going to be coming up on the 26th of July. The guest speaker will be Dr. Douglas Akimen, University of Johannesburg, South Africa. We implore you all to register and log in. We will share the link as time goes on in due course. Thank you. That's the information we have. And the topic will also the next. Well, let us be on the lookout. We also want you to fill our when responding to the link, please fill in your number so that I can add you to the WhatsApp group. You'll be able to receive more information, interact, and then have solutions or answers to your questions or practical issues that you want us to give you enlightenment about on any of the topics so far that we have done. So thank you once again for participating in this webinar. I will want to call on Dr. Patience Tunji-Olayeni in case we have any other information or contribution. Before we close, I get back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Just to say that the topic of the next webinar will be diplomatic analytic techniques for robust literature review. Diplomatic analytic techniques for robust literature review. So we hope to see everyone online, and let's ensure that the things we learn from these workshops, we try to put them into practice. Thank you again. And also, Prof, we're so grateful for honoring us with your presence and for the enlightening lecture. Thank you so much, Prof. We'll be reaching out to you from time to time as a mentor. We are grateful. Thank you so much. We wish you all the best in your career.
Yes, we want to say thank you. Yes, Prof.
Thank you for having me. And
thank you, ma'am.
And bye.
Okay, bye. So just before we close, somebody was asking on the platform, on the chat box, how can you join the WhatsApp group? Please, I believe when you registered, you have put your phone number. That was what I was trying to explain the other time, that in case you have a different phone number for your WhatsApp, it's part of the question that we expect you to answer. You put your WhatsApp phone number there so that you can be added. Once you've registered for this webinar, rest assured we're going to add you to the WhatsApp group. So we want to say thank you all once again for joining in this webinar. We hope to see you in attendance during the next one coming up on the 26th. And we want to say thank you, everyone. And just in case, at the beginning, some of us found it difficult to connect. I want to say that probably we'll have to update your Zoom. And if you can't join through the your email, just copy the link on your URL. Just try to do. I know up to now we can, on our platform, we are still having some information that some are still saying they find it difficult to register. So please check your mail, copy the link, and paste on your URL. So we want to say thank you all. We're closing now for this webinar. We apologize for the late commencement of the program once again. We are committed to developing skills and capacity. And I want to assure you that the next edition, the next webinar too, will be as interesting. We thank our prof, very interesting. We thank all those who have contributed, different blocks from different universities, higher institution of learning. The standard is improving, month by month, the standard of our webinar. So thank you, everyone that has joined from all over. Signing out, QS Esther Olade, co-convener, another convener, co-convener, Dr. Patience Olayeni from Covenant University, and the co-convener, Dr. Sheyi Ajayi from University of Lagos. We have our technical crew. We have a wonderful person. This is Linda. We thank you. She's been working so hard to ensure that we have a smooth and seamless webinar. We thank all the technical crew, all those who are behind the scene. We say thank you, and we hope to see you again next month. So on behalf of myself and the crew, we say bye to everyone. God bless you. Please put into practice everything you have learned.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Prof. She said she has sent the PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to share it to everyone that has attended. God bless you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.